Now that we've located all of the necessary files to compile Maya plugins, such as the libraries and headers, we need to include code in the CMake module that are required to compile a Maya plugin, such as any linking flags or compiler definitions. So to do that, we're going to add a function called Maya plugin. And when we call it, we're going to pass in a target, which is pretty much the library object that we're going to compile. In order to add all the compile definitions required for a Maya plugin, we're going to call the setTargetProperties function and pass in the target. So what we can specify with this function are a few different things. First thing we'll do is specify any compile definitions. And we'll do that with a variable called Maya compile definitions. The reason why this is going to be in a variable is because the values will change depending on what platform we're on. So Maya compile definitions, let's go up to where we handle all of our platform-specific code. So by default, on all the platforms, all of them need to use the require IO stream and bool compile definitions. But each individual platform adds its own custom values to that. So on Windows, what we'll do is append to that value NT plugin on Linux. Let's put it down here. We're going to specify Linux, and on Mac, let's just specify OS Mac. So now we have the valid compile definitions for Windows, Mac, and Linux, and we're passing that down into the compile definitions of the project. The next thing we're going to do is specify a prefix for the generated MLL, bundle, or SO file. We're going to put that as an empty string. The reason why it's an empty string is by default on Linux and Mac, it will prefix lib to it, and we don't want that. So by specifying an empty string, we're sort of overriding that behavior. And for suffix, we are going to use another variable that we will write. We'll call it Maya plugin extension, like so, and we'll use that up here for specifying the extension of each plugin type for each platform. So up here in Windows, the plugin extension is dot plugin type MLL. There it is. On a Mac, it's a bundle, and on Linux, it's a .so file. So that handles those cases. For the suffix, we have the compile definitions, the prefix, and the suffix. The last thing we'll need to do is there's an extra thing that's only required for Windows, and those are some extra linking flags that we use. So if we're on Windows here, an extra thing we have to do, we'll call setTargetProperties on the target, and we'll specify some linking flags. And the flags we have to specify are export initialized plugin and export uninitialized plugin. And those are required to get the DLL to properly export a couple of functions used on Windows. And we have to do one last thing on Linux. Linux requires an extra compilation flag. So CMake handles that automatically with the CMake CXX flags function or variable. And what we have to do for Maya plugins is append a value to that. So we'll call the append syntax, CMake flags like that, and we need the flag FPIC. And you can probably Google that to see what exactly that means, but just know here it's required for a Linux plugin for Maya. So now that we've written or completed our Maya CMake module, let's learn how to use this to compile an actual plugin.